Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Glenn McGowan. This is Atlas Bellin. Today we're going to be doing one of my favorite things, is putting wheels and tires on one of my cars. So wheels, tire, suspension can literally transform your average looking car to something completely different. It's one of my favorite modifications to do to any of my cars. I really feel like getting that stance right and the right wheel and tire package just changes the look of the car, and it's like an instant gratification. The minute you put them on there, it's like, boop, the thing looks sick. So I ordered some wheels and tires about 8 weeks ago. A whole long story which I'll get into. So I finally have them, and I'm going to be taking them over to my boy's shop. He's going to mount and balance them for me. So I'll show you what they look like, and then I'll tell you what car they're going on. This week's video is brought to you by LCOBMW parts. Visit our online store for E36, E46, and E90 parts, or follow us on Instagram at LCOBMW. All the links are in the description below. Okay, so if you're familiar with my C4 here, I have BBS LM replicas on it. I think it's a really cool wheel. So I kind of got the same thing again here, but I got them in gold. So these are 18 by 9s all the way around here, like that. So pretty cool, and I got some brand new tires for it. So they're actually going to be going on my E46 here. So my plan was to originally get that style wheel for the blue C3 right there. So I really like the gold centers, but I wasn't 100% sure on pulling the trigger on that because, you know, it's one of those things where you buy the wheels and tires and you put them on and then you're like, oh God, it looks horrible. But when I bought this car, I saw those wheels on like a similar car. It was like an M3 or something, and I was like, oh, that's definitely it. So I figured I'm gonna buy these for this car, and then I'll be able to kind of set that up on my blue C3 and kind of get an idea if it'll look right or not. I did at one point put my wheels on my C4 on the C3. I bought some adapters and stuff like that to see how that would look. And it looked okay. I like that style wheel on there, but it just didn't really fit the car. But the gold or bronze color, I think, will really kind of like go good with the blue paint and stuff like that on there. But at least I can try it on there without having to buy them and then hate them. So anyway, so first things first, I am going to get these mount and balanced, and then I'm gonna put them on the car and try them out. So originally I had ordered the wheels from Fitment Industries as a staggered set. 18 by 8s in the front, 18 by 9s in the rear. There was a ton of issues of trying to get the front and the rear ones, the colors to match. They were just off a little bit. They had ordered like 4 or 5 times trying to get them from the vendor so the colors would match. So long story short, I ended up canceling my order after like 6 or 7 weeks or something like that. And then I ended up just ordering from another company, actually right from the manufacturer. And I ordered just a square stance, 18 by 9s all the way around. That way it'll be 100% accurate for the color of the gold. So, you know, why they use all different colored golds and stuff like that, I have no idea. But I just know it was like grueling waiting, because I refinished the wheels on this, if you remember the video. Like literally that night when I was done doing it, I found them and ordered them right away. But I was expecting to have them a while back at the beginning of the summer. But either way, they are here, and I'm gonna go over right now, get them mounted, and then we'll try them on. So I'm back with wheels, got them cleaned up, and I'm ready to put them on the car. So I ended up going with 245/40s for the back. And since the fronts are a lot wider than I wanted to run an 8-inch, I still kept with a 225/40. So it's like a little stretched in a little bit. So I'm hoping I'm not gonna have too much clearance issues. If not, I'm gonna have to like camber the wheel in a little bit, but we'll get them on and try them out first. So these are the 245s. And then this is 225, and you can see, I mean, it's not super stretched, but it's, you know, stretched in just a little bit, so that should help out. Okay, as you can see, I got them on. I ended up taking off my rear spacers that I had in the back, kind of kicked those factory style 68s out a little bit. So I have them just kind of set up with the way it is. I don't think I'm gonna run a spacer in the back because I think if I do go lower in the rear or anything, it may hit the inside. I was gonna maybe put like a 1/4 inch or something like that, but it looks pretty good. So let's get in close here. I wanna show you a view. The front looks pretty decent too. It looks like there's gonna be plenty of clearance. I could probably go a little bit lower if I wanted to. So I won't have to like degree the front end at like any negative camber or anything like that. So it looks pretty good, but we'll drive it and then I'll make sure there's no rubbing and stuff like that, but I'm feeling pretty confident. Okay, so this is the fitment in the front here. As you can see, it's sticking kind of flush out with the fender, which is nice. Kind of feels like the wheel well a lot better. Like that, which is nice. And then the rear, you know, I'd like to see it actually come out a little bit, so I may play around with that, but other than that, it looks pretty good. So I ended up putting that 1/4 inch spacer in there just to kind of kick the wheel out a little bit. I think it looks a lot better. So as long as it doesn't rub, I'll just probably keep that in there. Okay, so while I was at it, I tried it on the C3, not really in love with it, so I'm kind of glad I didn't buy them for this. So you can see, it looks cool, but I don't know, man, there's something about it just doesn't really fit the car that well. So I had really high expectations. I thought it was gonna look like a lot better, but now that it's on the car, it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep the torque thrust on there until I find something else. But at least I got them for a car that I did want them for, and instead of buying them, spending the money, and then not wanting them at all, or just settling with something you don't really like. So, but it's really tough with wheels and tires, and I know that there's like, you know, apps and, you know, Photoshop, you can kind of put wheels on your cars, see whether or not you like it or not, but there's nothing better than putting them on in person, because you can actually really see how it fits on the car and stuff like that. I have like a 2.5 inch spacer pushing the wheel off, because it's like a 35 millimeter offset wheel. So, you know, that's essentially what it would look like, but not too happy with it, but I'm glad I tried. Okay, so I just finished up, so now I'm gonna just take it out, go for a ride, make sure nothing's rubbing or anything like that, and then I'll get some shots of it outside. Okay, so I just ripped it out the block a little bit, and first thing out of the gate, I was rubbing in the rear pretty bad. So I'm gonna just take out that 1/4 inch spacer, and then it should be fine. And I knew it was kind of pushing it when I was kind of pushing on the suspension, and the tire was super close in there. And then you can kind of look back there, and the tire's kind of worn down and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna take that out and then go for another ride. Okay, so everything went well. There's no rubbing or any issues like that. And the car isn't extremely low. It is on coilovers, but you could probably go a little bit lower with it. So those wheels are 18x9 with 35 millimeter offset. So if you do have an E46 and you're wondering how wide you can go on the front with like stock fender, essentially 9 inches is fine. As long as you run like a 225 or something like that in the front, you shouldn't have any issues. And I could probably go another like 1/2 inch lower too, and maybe like a degree of camber, and not really have any issues at all. But for the time being, I'm happy with the way it looks, so I don't think I'm gonna go any lower, because right now I can just drive and kind of rip on it and not have to worry about any rubbing or anything like that. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.